Cue the music, let's go. I'm your boy Ro, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys, and welcome to X's and Ro, the series that takes your questions online and answers them to the best of our ability. First things first, special shout out to Caneswear, the everything store for everything Canes. Visit them at their Davies store location or online. Brett and the boys, they'll hook you up. First question, hey, I know this guy. It's the managing editor for State of the U, Cam Underwood. TVD clearly loves the smash concept. Every TD he's thrown and several other big plays have come on that concept. What other concepts can Miami add to the passing game to help expand the offense further? Cam, we're going to talk about counters to plays, and let's go ahead first and explain what the smash concept is. And you're not wrong. This is TVD under center throwing a touchdown to Mike Harley in the slot on what's known as a smash concept. A smash concept is where your number 2 receiver, could be a tight end in line or could be a slot wide receiver, is going to run a corner route, and then the outside wide receiver is going to run a variant. He's either going to stay stop, he's either going to stem inside, stop, Z out. Basically, it gives the quarterback a high-low read, and there's some cushion because people ask for air raid components. A smash is in the air raid offense as well. Quarterbacks need to read it right. They can either throw it flat towards the sideline or lead the wide receiver back into the corner. And here you'll see Exhibit A. This is Mike Harley. This is TVD. There's the smash concept. You can see it was mirrored at the top. They run the exact same concept up there, and bang. All right, so the counter. You astutely picked up on it, Cam. So what can we do as an offense? Well, you know what we're doing. You picked up on it. So this is something that you can do. Just fake the corner, fake the smash, and watch the okey doke. Ready? There it was. Foot in the ground. Bang. I mean, this is pretty. You're just going to go ahead and have to play off the plays in your tendencies. Having a natural counter to things, setting things up for the future can lead to success. TVD can make this throw all day. Something else, too, that I saw, and it was funny because when I searched this, it ended up being one of my older clips. But Miami likes to run a lot of mesh concepts, too, where you have 2 drags coming across the formation. And this is, by the way, De'Aaron King at Houston. And look, they come in, fake the mesh. When they fake the mesh, watch what they do. Come in, this is a natural counter, something else that they could do. They come back on the outside. Beautiful play, goes for big yards. Those were 2 instances where a tried and true concept to football, right? A smash is nothing new. A mesh concept is nothing new. But when you sell them, they can lead to very, very big gains. This question comes in from Abe Gata at GataAbe on Twitter online. Is the lack of depth and injury at running backs a major cause for the slow starts in the first half and possibly for the losses? I appreciate the question. When you talk about running back injury, it's one in particular, Don Chaney, who I think is a remarkable back with a phenomenal future in front of him. Unfortunately, he got hurt. But do I think that's the sole reason for the slow starts? I personally do not. For me, a lot of it is centered around third downs and staying on the field. Miami is 65th nationally in terms of third down conversions, but that drops drastically another 20 spots to 85th nationally when you consider facing off only against FBS opponents. For me, one of the prime culprits, and I'm going to go to a third down early against the University of Virginia, was right here. It's protection. First third down opportunity of the game. You need to stay on the field. And what happens? A zone blitz gets the offensive line confused. You have a 3-for-1 up top, which leaves a 2-for-1 in their advantage down below. Navon Donaldson does the best he can. And you had a wide open tight end that could have extended the chains. It's plays like this. Go back to the Michigan State game. It was 17-14. It was a tight, close ball game. But it was a misstep from the left tackle, some protection issues again that unraveled the ball game. So for me, yes, the reality, you could tackle, right? You could protect it better, and you make a chip shot field goal, you're 4-1 on the season. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But in this case, it's not the running back for me. It's protecting the quarterback that's the prime culprit in the losses. And this question comes in from IMFB_blog at IMFB_blog on Twitter. And if you don't know who that is, that's my X's and O bro from the State of the U, Justin Dotavio. Check out all of his work. He's phenomenal. He's great at what he does. But he has a question, and it is smash. Which one do you like better, Ro? The zig out by the inside guy or the traditional Spurrier hitch? Well, you put me on the spot, and I'm going to tell you right now, I like that zig out, Z out. but I like the ability to have the option on it. And here you go. This is kind of a hybrid. It's not your traditional spur your hitch where your wide receiver's staying close to the sideline. At the snap of the ball, and this is Buffalo Bills, they're running this against a Tampa 2 by the New England Patriots on defense. And what you're going to see right there, this is what I like as a quarterback, Justin, because when that happens right there, I'm sucking my cornerback away from the sideline. So now the read for me is real nice and easy. You're going to see this nice window right here. This is when I anticipate the break. This is when I'm throwing the ball. And there's my honey hole, right? There's my honey hole versus the cover 2. And it makes it easy for me. If I have my corner who's stuck on that rail and he's got his head back and he's anticipating smash, especially when we run it enough, he can trail behind and he can go ahead and make that pick. It's harder for him, and you're going to see this here. It's harder for him to make this pick when he's away from the sideline. Plus, I like this option right here because now later on, I can either Z that back out, but it all starts with my corner getting away from the sideline and my wide receiver taking him away from that sideline because, as you can see, that's a much easier read for me. This is a case of the inmates running the asylum. This is Zach Alashian State at OBB Field at ZachF88 on Twitter, a proud family member of Club OBB, and I think he's busting my chops when he asks, what happened to the Yankees last night? As a lifelong fan, you have to have some input. So let me answer the rest of this question. I'll take off my glasses and explain to you what happened. As a lifelong fan, yes, it is true. I rekindled my love and magic for the New York Yankees about 2 seasons ago. But before that, I need to bring up something. I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. I went to school in Fort Lauderdale, went to high school in Fort Lauderdale. Before the Florida Marlins, who turned into the Miami Marlins, were even a thing or a blip on the radar, the Fort Lauderdale Yankees were. And my dad would take me constantly to Fort Lauderdale Yankee games, the spring training home of the New York Yankees, and I even got to meet Mickey Mantle, one of the coolest experiences I ever had, especially as a young kid. Now, what happened last night? Well, you pay Garrett Cole a lot of money. He's your ace starter. And when Boston goes ahead and tags him early for that 2-run home run, that Fenway crowd got juiced. And I was just there. What a phenomenal opportunity and experience. I sat atop the monster, and then the New York Yankees swept the Boston Red Sox. But when it mattered most, the offense just wasn't there. And that's going to be the issue. I see a big, slow, lumbering team. And Booney talked about it. He said some of these other teams are catching up with them, surpassing them. And like somebody like Toronto, I love their nucleus. They got Guerrero Jr., they got Bo Bichette. These are young guys, energetic guys, athletic guys. And then you turn around and you watch the Yankees, slow, lumbering, non-athletic, a lot of swing and miss ratio guys. And they just didn't get it done when it mattered. But it's okay, Boston fans. Instead of us getting swept by Tampa, it's going to be you. This question is coming in from The Reckoning at Seth Jevy online Twitter. It looked to me that in the second half, TVD settled down and the OL found its groove. How connected are those two things, and can they carry over to UNC? How connected are those two things? Incredibly connected. And I agree with you. Here's a case in the second half, right, late in the ball game, of the offensive line doing its job against a 3-man rush, Tyler knowing he has the time in the pocket and what he can do for you, especially on this 3rd and 14. Miami's going to run this 3-by-1 look. This is going to be Tyler's third read, and I like the way that he's picking up. He only has 3-man rush. He senses it. His eyes are downfield, and then this big arm can shine. Look at this. On a dig concept right here to Charleston Rambo. It goes ahead and goes for a first down, and you needed that. That was a huge play. Now, how connected? Offensive line did its job. Even though they only rushed 3, they're looking for work over here. I like that. This was yes, they found their groove on this play. And to me, earlier in this video, you saw and you heard me speak about how those protection issues and how it seems to horsebite the University of Miami at the most inopportune times. Can that carry over into UNC? Absolutely, but they need to start early. They need to dial in all their protection issues, get them ironed out of the way, because you can't start the game like you started against the University of Virginia and expect to walk out with a win. Fred Az at Big T-O67 asks, hey, Big T-O, like Big Uncle, what's going on? Watching our offense, it seems more than vanilla. Am I correct? It has been that way with our last two offensive coordinators. At a certain point, do we just say we don't have the talent to run different types of plays, or is it just poor play calling or coaching? I'm going to assume all. Well, I'm going to focus on that last statement. I'm going to assume all, because when you're in this predicament, it usually takes a village. And what predicament am I talking about? Did you know that Rhett Lashley last year against FBS opponents averaged 34 points per game, which was good for third in conference? Fast forward to this year, it's dropped down to 20. That's a 2-touchdown drastic drop-off. So it's real easy to go ahead and call it vanilla when it's not having its way. But one thing I've noticed early on in this review series for me is that the tempo that Miami operated with last year, it caught teams off guard. It led to a lot of big chunk plays. Teams were confused. This year, I'm not seeing that. And there's a relative safe formula for college football offenses. The more simple you are, typically the faster they go. The more complex they are, typically the slower they go. So now that you're not seeing that same tempo negation aspect, you're seeing a lot of routine tendencies. A run game that typically needs some diversification. And that's where I think Miami needs to maybe reinvent itself, look at it from different sides, check with me a little bit more, find counters to things that they're doing, anticipate moves before they happen. And lastly, I encouraged PFF recently to go ahead and basically give out coach grades. It'd be nice to know versus this coverage, this was a great play call, this was a better counter to this play call. I'm sure it could be done, and that way it can answer the questions over and over. Is it the players or is it the coaching? Thanks for the question. This is going to be the last clip of the evening, and it's going to be a rapid-fire segment. But before we get going, once again, thank you to Caneswear, proud supporter of X's and Ro. Cane 6, when will our misery end? I don't know. But to piggyback off of Kirk Herbstreit, the Miami Hurricanes have averaged a 7-6 season since Larry Coker, and Larry Coker hasn't been here in a very long time. It's going to take a top-down approach. When the top starts carrying a little bit more, I think you're going to see the results. Jonah Friedman, what does Manny have to do in order to keep his job? We're on a very short leash, Jonah. He has to win, then continuously win, and win again, and win again, and win again. My personal opinion on the matter, if he goes out and lays an egg against North Carolina, especially after a 778-yard debacle last year, I don't think he escapes this, and I think the University of Miami starts a coaching search. That's my personal opinion, but he needs to win. Finally, Susie Canes, does your pup enjoy football? Thank you for the question. And there she is. Yes, that's Cooper Lee. That's the new addition to my family. Well overdue. Does she like football? Well, I don't know because she's a few months old. Miami's on a bye week. We'll see how she does when we're yelling and screaming at the TV in about a week or so. On that note, I'm your boy Ro, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. Thank you for all your questions this week, and I'll see you soon.